So with Christmas time, very soon, I thought it would be appropriate to do a tutorial on how to do a chin on the bin, which is of course the best way, the most appropriate, especially at Christmas time, way to say goodbye and wave off any departing guests. So first step is there's three main stages to a chin on the bin. I'll go through them all and then I'll show them individually and then I'll show them together. So first, it's the chin bit. So what you do is you go. So kind of like you start off as though you're sort of thinking about something, a difficult problem. And then you bend your knees, so you go down a bit, and as you bend your knees, your finger slips off like that. So it's like this. So sometimes I see people with their hands still on their chin as they're doing that, and you're supposed to depart. And then as you do it, it's simple. The words are quite simple. Chin, chin, chin. Okay, so that's the first stage. Chin, chin, chin. Next part, it's the Scrooge bit. So you're just walking as though it's Christmas Day and you're really merry. So it's sort of like this. And again, sometimes I think this is part where people often do the worst, because sometimes you'll just see like that without the body moving as well, or like that. Sometimes it's embarrassing to be part of those chin on the bins when you're seeing that. And so what you need to do is you sway your whole body. Now, it's a bit of a controversial subject whether you go left first or right first. I always go left first, but I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer. But I do think the chin on the bin looks more impressive if the whole, what would you call it, like the whole chin on the bin choir is choreographed in the same way. So, like that. So then as you're saying that, the words to that are, so it's chin, 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 and then you go chin on the bin, and it needs to coincide. So you do 1, 2, 3. So it's like chin on the bin, just like that. And then finally the wave. Any goodbye wouldn't feel proper without the wave off. And I think some people, they're sort of accustomed to a culture where you tend to wave like that or whatever. But you need to, again, it's kind of Scrooge is the inspiration for much of this. So it will help to actually watch The Muppets Christmas Carol to really see where this comes from. But I'll do the best I can here. Basically, it's from the side, it might be easier to see. You bend your arm like that, and then you want a really nice limp wrist. And then your fingers basically should be just like doing all the work. So your hand barely moves. And to be honest, even your thumb doesn't really move actually. But also, as you're doing it, it helps to sort of go like that. So it's really it's a warm sending off. And so as you're saying it again, you want to lower down a bit. So it's like when you do the chin 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 on the bin, you're all up there. But then for the last bit, you want to bend your knees. Sometimes if you want to, you can have a little bounce in there, but I actually think it's probably better to just lower and stay, and then with the chin on the bin. So that bit will go. The words again are chin on the bin. See, I actually did a bit of a bounce there, but when it goes faster, that's not going to be possible. Chin on the bin. So putting it all together very slowly. Chin, chin, chin. Chin on the bin. Chin on the bin. And I actually move my fingers slowly at the start. So the other thing about the Scrooge wave at the end is sort of the age-old problem of what the cruddy is supposed to do with your left arm. It's like when you play tennis or table tennis and like your left arm's just hanging there awkwardly. So I think you look a bit of a fool if you're just basically going chin on the bin and it's just there hanging off. So I tend to do this, chin on the bin. But I think that's a preference thing. It's whatever makes you feel more comfortable while you're chinning on the bin. So yes, putting it all together again. What you need to know is that you start off very slowly. The guest has just left the door. Chin, chin, chin. Chin on the bin. Chin on the bin. But then as they're getting in the car, you go a bit faster. Chin, chin, chin. Chin on the bin. Chin on the bin. And then they're maybe pulling out the drive and you really need to start speeding up so it's quite difficult and it like hurts your sort of vocal cords and like you're out of breath and it's really uncomfortable. Chin 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 on the bin, chin on the bin, chin 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 on the bin, chin on the bin, chin 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 on the bin, chin on the bin, chin chin chin. And then when it starts to go like when they're leaving, that's just went as fast as you possibly can. Some people are better than others at actually still saying chin on the bin rather than just making random noises, but for me it sort of sounds like this. And then one last thing is just like an advanced tip. So, you know, newbies to chin on the bins shouldn't be trying to do this on their first on their first few, but eventually you want to start throwing them in. Is this things like this? Chin, especially at the start when it's slow. Chin, 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 chin on the bin, chin on the bin. Woo, chin, chin. You know, just things like that. Mainly the burps. And I guess other things like saying chin, chin, chin. He doesn't want it, chin on the bin. Like the sort of things you'd hear shouted out at a Sunday league football match. So yeah, after that tutorial, you see what it does to you. I mean, it's a good way to keep fit, actually. I hope I don't see any rubbish chin on the bins this year. And you know, if you're the sort of person who during a chin on the bin is just standing there like this, then I think you're going to be visited by 3 ghosts on Christmas Eve.